Today we're going to talk about cold water operations with the engine during EMS calls and during fire operations. We're going to start with EMS calls. Biggest thing is you always want to have water moving at 32 degrees or below outside, just to prevent any damage to the pump or the engine itself. So main thing I do when I pull up on scene, make sure I set my parking brake. I'm going to make sure my truck goes into pump, engage my tank to pump and my recert valve. I don't need the foam system at this time since we aren't really flowing water or fighting fires, just an EMS call. I just want to have water moving in the pump. A few things I also want to talk about is during morning checks, different things to always make sure you're checking, make sure all your valves are shut. We don't want any leaking while we're on scene, even at EMS calls. One of the new things we will be adding this year is a bottle of antifreeze. Good thing to do with the antifreeze during your morning checks. Give all your connections a good spray. It's going to help keep it lubricated, make it a little bit easier on scene. We'll have these on all the engines and the truck. We will make sure everyone knows where they're at and update any of the morning checks with that. Another important thing to remember in your morning checks is make sure you have your salt container full of salt, ready to go. Biggest thing with this is EMS calls, fire calls, doesn't matter. We have the salt, make sure you use it, help prevent those injuries from any falls. Some of the other key features that you're going to want to think about is operating your drains. We have different drains for all of our crosslays, all of our inlets. Just work them throughout the incident. It's going to help relieve some of that built up pressure and ice that may be forming in that line. So after the incident's complete, make sure you are opening all those drains, making sure you're getting all that water out. That's going to help prevent any ice buildup on your way back or later in that day. Again, with engine 10, engine 97, vehicles like that that don't have the pump and roll, you're going to have to manually shift into pump on EMS calls, just letting that water move. Remember your first move down, halfway, all the way. Engage your brake, put in drive. You're going to hear the engine rev up a little bit, you're going to get 2 green lights. Your water should be moving in your pump. So like I was talking about, opening that bail as a nozzleman, it doesn't take much water to flow. Just flowing a little bit is going to help keep that water moving and help that engineer out in the long run. Again, after operations, you want to make sure all that water gets out of the waterway that goes up the ladder. Easiest way to do that is make sure you're still pretty extended. You'll open up your valve here on the back and that'll all drain out by itself. Wait till it's completely clear and you'll be good to go.
Just want to cover a couple things for incident command to consider. When we get a lot of water on the ground, when it freezes, we want to make sure we contact street department to get a salt truck out. And then also, anytime we get done using a hydrant for cold weather, we want to make sure we contact the on-call Department of Public Utilities person. They can come out, make sure the hydrant's pumped out so we don't have to worry about it freezing.